Hello everyone! In this video, we'll go over the Vocabulary Workshop Level Green Unit 6 words. You can follow along at home using your book. Let's get started! Our first word is border. Border does have two meanings. The first one is a noun, and it means the outer edge of an object, the line where two parts meet. For example, we crossed the border into Canada. So this sentence here, if you look at a map, this is a map of North America. There is Canada, and here underneath Canada is the United States. And you can see that there are two different colors to show that there are two countries. This line right between the two is what we would call the border, because it's the line where two parts meet. The two parts are Canada and the United States. So we call it a border. And this sentence, when it says we cross the border, it means someone is on one side and they're going over to the other country. They're crossing over the border. We can also use border to talk about something like a garden. Here in this garden, you can see there is a border made out of stone that separates the garden from the rest of the grass. And here in this classroom, you can see at the top of the classroom, there is a blue border. It's just a line that's separating two parts. There's the top part and the bottom part here. Those are the two parts, and the line is separating the two parts. It's keeping them apart. And of course, here in this map, we have South Korea, and at the top here is North Korea. This line between the two is also called the border. A synonym of border is the word boundary, and there are no antonyms. Border can also be used as a verb, and it means to be next to or near something, to touch at the edge. For example, one city can border a number of small towns. So in this sentence, we're talking about a smaller part of the city, like this back here. It's a little difficult to see, but there's a small town back here, and then there's a big city over here. So I can say this small city borders, or is next to or near, the big city. And here in this playground, you can see there's a lot of trees in this background over here. So I can say the trees border the playground. They're next to or near the playground. They're touching the very edge of the playground here, so they border the playground. I can say the same thing about the ocean. The ocean borders the sand or the beach. There are no synonyms or antonyms for border as a verb. So remember, we can talk about border as the line that is keeping two things apart, the outer edge, or we can talk about it as to be next to or near something. Our next word is certain. Be a little bit careful with the pronunciation of this word. We pronounce it as certain. Certain. Certain is an adjective, and it means having no doubt or being sure. For example, you can say, I'm certain I locked the door. It means I am sure. Before I left my house, I know that I locked the door. I'm certain about it. I'm sure. Some synonyms of this word are positive, confident, definite, fixed, settled, and agreed. Antonyms are uncertain, unsure, and indefinite. You can use this word whenever you think that something is true or something is correct. For example, looking at this picture, this girl is looking for something in her bag and maybe she can't find it, but she can say, I'm certain I put my phone in my bag before I left. She's sure that she put it in there, so she will keep searching until she finds it because she is certain, she is sure. this girl over here, you can say, I'm certain she knows how to tie her shoes. I'm sure that she knows how to tie her shoes. Or in this picture here, the boy is taking a test and he looks very confident. He looks like he knows what he's doing. So you can say, I'm certain that he will get a good grade. And we also often use this word with not to show that you are not sure about something. For example, I'm not certain if I locked the door before I left. Our next word is clasp. Clasp also has two meanings. Clasp is a noun and it is a device, so it's a thing that holds parts together. It holds two things together. A strong hold. For example, I lost the clasp to my watch. So clasp is a thing, and here are some kinds of clasps that maybe you've seen. We often see clasps in things like jewelry. For example, this one here, you might see it at the back of a necklace. Or this one here might be on a bracelet or a watch. So whenever you see these things that are holding two parts together, we call that a clasp. Some synonyms are buckle or grasp. There are no antonyms for this word. Clasp is also used as a verb, and this time it means to hook something up, to hold tightly. We often use it as to hold tightly. For example, my younger sister likes to clasp my hand. So this time clasp is an action word. Here in this picture you can see the little sister is clasping the older sister's hand. She's holding on to her hand tightly. In this picture here, the baby is clasping on to its toys. It's holding on tightly and it's not letting go. We can also use clasp, the verb, when we talk about putting on something, because remember we're hooking the two parts together. So whenever you're putting on a bracelet or a necklace, you can use clasp as a verb. For example, I can say it's difficult to clasp a bracelet on yourself. And you can even use this word on a cold day when you grab your jacket or a blanket and you're holding it tightly to yourself. You can say, she clasped the blanket over her shoulders. So she put it on her shoulders and held it very tightly because she was cold. Some synonyms are fasten, grasp, and seize. And a lot of the time we use this word fasten instead of clasp. So those are two words that are used very often, fasten and clasp. Some antonyms are undo, loosen, or unfasten. And please be careful with this word fasten. We don't say fasten, we say fasten. So again, clasp can be used as a noun to talk about this item that holds parts together, or it can be used as a verb to talk about holding on to something tightly. Our next word is depart. Depart is a verb and it means to go away. For example, I will depart for Miami soon. Miami is a place, and our word depart, our verb, means to go. So I will go to this place soon. And when you're talking about the go away part of depart, it means you are leaving somewhere. So I will leave where I am and go to some other place. The synonym of depart is leave, and the antonyms are stay or remain. So whenever you're taking an airplane ride somewhere, or maybe you're taking a bus or a train, you can use this word depart to talk about when you are leaving. For example, I can say, the airplane will depart soon. Or, you'd better hurry and get to the train before it departs, before it leaves. You can use this word to talk about any time that you leave or any time you go away from any place like your house or your school. But this word is most often used to talk about long trips. So trips that will take a long time or trips where you'll be gone for many days. In those situations, you can use the word depart. Our next word is fierce. Fierce is an adjective and it means violent, wild, or savage. Whenever you're using the word fierce, you can think about something that looks very strong and scary, something that might be able to hurt you. For example, the tiger that attacked the zookeeper was fierce. So there was a tiger that attacked a person, and we can describe this tiger as being fierce because it was very violent. It was fighting and attacking. It was wild. It was not a kind tiger, so we can call it fierce. We often use this word to describe wild animals like tigers or lions. You can also use it to describe something like a dragon. I can say, the fierce dragon was breathing fire on the kingdom. Or we can even use fierce to describe very strong things like a hurricane or very bad storm. I can say, the fierce wind almost made the trees fall down. Some synonyms are cruel, which is very not nice, and ferocious. Antonyms include mild and easygoing. This word fierce can even be used to describe people. Think about someone who is a fighter, who's very strong. Then you can use fierce as the adjective to describe them. Our next word is journey. Journey has two different uses. First, we can use it as a noun, and it means a long trip, a passage from one place to another. For example, where did you go on your journey? Some synonyms are expedition, tour, voyage, and outing. There are no antonyms for this word. So anytime that a person is going on a long trip, we can call it a journey. I can say, the hiker went on a journey through the mountains. Now, journey can be used to talk about any long trip, but most of the time it's used to talk about a very amazing or unique kind of trip, not just a regular kind of trip. For example, an astronaut that's going to the moon would be going on a journey. However, if I'm just taking a vacation to Jeju Island, that's not really a journey. That's not anything unique or special or amazing. It's just a normal trip. So when you think about this word journey, I want you to think about amazing trips that people usually don't take. Only very special people or very people who love adventure would be going on a journey. You can also use journey to talk about the long trips that animals take. For example, animals like ducks or geese, they will fly to different countries during the winter. They will fly thousands and thousands of kilometers away when the season changes to go to a warmer place. So that is a very long trip, and every animal doesn't do this. It's a very unique or special thing for some animals. So we can call that a journey. I can say every winter the ducks go on a long journey south. So we were talking about the noun journey, but we can also use it as a verb. So now it is to go on a trip, to travel. The meaning is still the same, we're just using it as an action word this time. For example, I can say, we plan to journey to Egypt. Synonyms are tour, trek, or go. And there are no antonyms for this word. Remember, we're still talking about journey as a very long or very special or very unique kind of trip, not just a regular kind of trip. When someone goes to a special place like Egypt, it's not very normal that everyone will go there, so you can call it as a journey. I can say, I journeyed to Egypt. Or, the people journeyed across the desert to find their home. So they went on a very long, special, unique trip that many people don't do. Only a few people have done. You can also think about the movie Moana. I can say, Moana's people journeyed across the ocean to their home. So they went on a long trip. Our next word is observe. Observe is a verb, and it means to see, to watch with close attention, to stick to or obey. When you are observing something, you are really watching something carefully. You're not looking away, you're looking very closely at something. Let's look at the example. To understand how the bird gets its food, the boy must observe its movements. There are some people who really enjoy watching birds. So I can say they are observing the birds. They are looking at the birds carefully to learn more about them, to learn about how they live, how they eat, what they like to do. So anytime that you are looking at something closely, usually to learn about it, you can use the word observe instead of just saying look. Because I can say the man is looking at the bird, that sentence is fine, but the word observe is a better word that you can use instead of look to make your sentence better. We can also use observe when people are looking at the stars. I can say the two children are observing the stars. They're looking carefully at the stars. In this picture here too, you can see the girl has a magnifying glass and she's observing the flowers. Some synonyms of observe are notice and abide. There are no antonyms for this word. Observe can also mean to stick to or obey. This meaning is talking about some sort of tradition or rule that people have to follow. For example, there are many people that observe Chuseok. They follow the tradition of Chuseok. So you can also use this word observe in that kind of situation too. Think about any kind of special tradition like birthdays or Christmas or New Year's celebrations that people always do or want to do. Then you can use this word observe as well to talk about when they are following or doing that tradition. Our next word is superb. Superb is an adjective and it means of the best quality. When something is superb, you can think about it as being great or awesome or amazing. It is superb. For example, the acting and singing in the movie were superb. Some synonyms are excellent, splendid, wonderful, marvelous, and magnificent. So superb and all of these synonyms are just better words that you can use instead of just saying great or awesome or good. Antonyms include inferior or ordinary. Here in this picture, you can see this boy drew this amazing picture of a cat. So I can say he drew a superb picture of a cat. And think about something like a magic show. I can say the magician's trick was superb. It was amazing. It was great. Our next word is treasure. Treasure has two meanings. The first one is a noun and it is a collection of valuable objects. Something worth a lot. So remember, valuable means it's worth a lot of money or it's important. The example says, the pirates guarded their treasure. Just like in this picture you can see, the pirates are guarding, they're protecting their treasure. And the treasure is gold coins, jewels, very valuable items. You can also talk about something that you found that might look like treasure to you. For example, I can say, I found some shiny treasure in the sand. Synonyms include wealth and riches. There are no antonyms for this word. We most often use treasure to talk about things like jewelry, gold, pearls, any kind of expensive looking item. But we can also use treasure as a verb, as an action word. And it means to care a great deal for. So you care about something a lot. For example, I treasure, in this sentence it's a verb, so I care. I treasure my collection of foreign coins. So this sentence says that there is a person who really loves or cares about his coin collection. He has many coins from different countries, so he really treasures them. He doesn't want to lose them. He wants to take good care of his coins. You can treasure anything that is important to you. For example, I can say, moms treasure their children. They care for, they love their children. Or maybe you have a teddy bear that you really love. I can say, she treasures her puppy doll. And of course, anyone who has a pet probably treasures their pet as well. Some synonyms are cherish, prize, and appreciate. This word prize has the same meaning as to care about. This prize is not talking about something that you win in a contest. It means care about something, like I prize my coin collection. Antonyms include neglect and disregard. Our last word is wisdom. Wisdom is a noun, and it means knowledge and good sense, especially as a result of experience. So this is talking about someone who is very smart, they have a lot of knowledge, or they have good sense. It means they can tell if something is a good idea or a bad idea easily. And they have all of this wisdom, all of this knowledge because of their experience. That usually means that they are older in age. So someone like a grandma or a grandpa might have a lot of wisdom because they lived a long time and they did many things. So they have a lot of experience. Let's look at the example. It says, grandparents have much wisdom about life. Synonyms include judgment, understanding, and intelligence. And an antonym is ignorance. So for wisdom, we can talk about people having wisdom. We can also talk about some things like a book having wisdom. I can say, books are full of wisdom. There's a lot of knowledge. There's a lot of things you can learn from books. And a common phrase that people often say is, with age comes wisdom. It means the older that you get, the more wisdom, the more knowledge that you will gain. Do you know anyone who has a lot of wisdom? And that's all for this video. We went over the Vocabulary Workshop Level Green Unit 6 words. Thanks so much for listening and see you next time. Bye!